What's up, y'all? Jake here. Got a shoulder mobility workout today to upgrade that Rice Krispie crackling shoulder. Let's get it. First up, shoulder cars. If you haven't done shoulder cars, I would suggest checking out the cars morning routine. That video goes into much more detail on the specific movements. The main point of the cars is to take our joints through their greatest, safest, pain-free range of motion on a daily basis so we can maintain the health of that joint. If you notice from the side view, it looks like we're tracing out a large circle with our hands. If at any point you start to feel pain or pinch points in the shoulder joint, you can think about cutting a piece of that circle out or making the circle a little bit smaller in order not to have the pain in the shoulder. Some common compensations during our shoulder cars are bending in the elbow, rotating through the spine, or rotating through the neck. Also moving through the low back when the arms start to go overhead. Last area to watch out for is the shoulder blades. Whenever you start to bring the arms up overhead, they will want to help with that motion and shrug up towards the ears. Remember, the goal of the shoulder cars is to take that joint through its greatest range of motion independently. We're trying not to get any help from neighboring joints. Now we got some shoulder blade work. We're going to start with our head, our upper back, and our butt glued to the corner of a wall, holding an object at chest height. We're going to drive that object away from our body, keeping our backside glued to the wall, and then we'll pull that object back towards our chest. All the movement is coming from the shoulder blades. So we're going to think about driving that block away, the shoulder blades pull apart, and then we're going to pull that block towards us, keeping the arm straight. We're going to pinch the shoulder blades together. That's where the wall behind us gives us great feedback. We can pinch the wall with our shoulder blades and then drive the block away and pull the shoulder blades apart. Shoulder rotations. We're going to start from the overhead position, keep the arms locked out, and we're going to rotate thumbs down, thumbs up. But we're really trying to focus on the upper arm for that bicep. So if you had a sticker on the top of your bicep, we'd want to try to rotate that down towards the floor and then rotate it back up towards the ceiling. 8 full reps down and up, keeping those arms straight. We switch to the abducted or T position out to the side, arms stay straight, and we rotate. 8 full reps. Remember, we're working through pain-free ranges of motion. If there's any pinch points or stinging, you can always adjust. Maybe you need to lower the arms down a little bit towards your side to take away the pinching or the aggravated area. Last position, we're going to go behind us into extension, keeping the arms straight. We rotate thumbs up, thumbs down. Ideally, we keep those arms as straight and as high as we can behind us. We should feel a lot of triceps, back of the arms, rear shoulders when we do these rotations. A lot of stretching on the front side of that shoulder if you keep those arms lifted back as high as you can. Laying on our side, we're going to do 5 reps of shoulder rotations from this position. In this setup, we want to make sure that our bottom arm underneath our body, so our shoulders are stacked on top of each other, our hips are stacked, and our knees are stacked. From here, I'm also double checking to make sure my shoulder doesn't shrug up, and then I will arm wrestle down and try to bring my forearm down towards my waist. Once we get set up in our in range and we can't rotate down towards the floor anymore, we will take our top hand and place it on the back of that working forearm to add a little bit of a passive stretch to the back of that right shoulder. From here, we'll breathe in, exhale, brace the core, squeeze the legs together, use that tension, and we start to drive into that top hand. Not moving anywhere. Feel all that tissue that was on stretch light up. Drive into that top hand using the back of the shoulder. And then now we switch, we place our hand underneath and we arm wrestle down more. We're not moving. Feel this effort come from the inner armpit and your bicep, chest. After that round, we passively go back, try to sink into a little bit more range of motion. Feeling the stretch on the back side of the shoulder. Big, slow breaths. Getting ready for our second round of pushing and pulling. Starting with another big inhale. Exhale, brace the core, squeeze the legs together, start to drive into that top hand. Build on that intensity, ramping up, ramping up, ramping up. See if you can get more effort than that first round. All from the back side of that right shoulder. Driving up, and then we start to switch. Drive down into that hand. Give yourself a little bit of resistance. Arm wrestle. Feel inner armpit, bicep, front shoulder, and then relax. Sink into some more passive stretch. See if you can get a little bit deeper. Feeling the stretch on the back side of that right shoulder. Big, slow breaths. Coming up on our third and final round for this right shoulder, but listen to the body. If you're feeling fatigued, you can always skip this. If you're feeling good, let's get ready. Brace that core, squeeze the legs, and start to drive into that top hand. Build on that effort, ramping up to your greatest, safest effort, and hold. All from the back side of that right shoulder. Driving up, and then we flip. Start to arm wrestle down. Feel this now on the front side of your shoulder. Chest, inner armpit. Slowly let that effort go. Placing the hand back on top of that forearm. Sinking into that passive position. Feeling the stretch on the back side of that right shoulder. Big, slow breaths. Recoup after those rounds of pushing and pulling. Real quick, we're going to get some blood flow back into that shoulder. We have 5 reps of our shoulder rotations going through our full range of motion. All right, flipping over. Now we got to work that left side, even it out. Starting off, we have 5 reps of those rotations. Then we go into our passive stretch, making sure we're stacked up. That top hand starts to push down onto our bottom forearm, targeting a stretch on the back side of that left shoulder. Getting ready for our first round of pushing and pulling. Take a big breath in, brace the core, squeeze the legs together, and then use that effort to drive into that top hand. Build on that contraction more from the back side of that left shoulder. Everything that's on stretch is lit up, and you're working that. Greatest, safest effort, driving into that top hand. Hold this, and then now reverse. We switch underneath, and we drive down, try to arm wrestle deeper into that in range of motion. Squeeze the front part of that chest, that inner armpit, bicep, and then slowly let that go, sink back into the passive position. Big, slow breaths. I think 3-4 seconds in through the nose, 3-4 seconds out through the mouth. Feeling the stretch and breathing. Here we go, take another big breath of air, pack that core, squeeze the legs together, and then we start to drive into that top hand. Start with light effort, Feel the back side of that left shoulder working and build on that contraction, driving up more. Greatest, safest effort. Hold this. Keep driving up. And then we're going to switch, place the hand underneath and drive down. Feel this effort coming from the front side of the body, that front shoulder, chest, inner armpit, and bicep. Driving down, trying to arm wrestle and win. Slowly let that go, sinking back into that passive position. Trying to get deeper of a stretch on the back side of that left shoulder, and we breathe. Trying to relax with this stretch. We've already completed 2 rounds, so if the body's feeling fatigued, you can always skip to the next exercise. But if you're ready to roll, we got our 3rd round coming up. Starting with a big breath in. Exhale, pack that core, squeeze the legs together, build tension throughout the whole body, staying in that in range, and we start to drive up into that top hand. Build on that contraction, ramping up to your greatest, safest effort. Hold that, feel that back shoulder working, driving up. And then now we reverse our effort, staying in that same position. We're gonna try to rotate deeper into a stretch. Front shoulder, inner armpit, bicep working, rotating down. And then slowly let that go, sinking back into that passive position. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of a range of motion. Sink into that stretch and breathe. Slowly letting go of that stretch. We're going to transition right into our rotations. 5 reps. Going to our end range. All the way back. And then we arm wrestle down towards our feet. Making sure we don't compensate through the rest of the body. I have my hand on my shoulder to make sure it's not shrugging up. That upper arm is just rotating on an axis, like a rotisserie chicken. Switching gears, we're going to stand up and work shoulder external rotation with the TRX, or we can stand in a doorway and place our forearm on the door frame. From here, we're going to target a stretch on the front side of that shoulder. We can rotate our upper body away from that working shoulder. And then we can also start to bring our chest down towards the floor to torque into more of a stretch. Getting ready for our first round of pushing and pulling. Brace the core, scissor the legs together, and then start to drive into that TRX like you're going to rip it off the wall, pressing into that doorway. Feel that front side working. Everything that was on stretch, that front shoulder is engaged. Greatest, safest effort. Rip that thing off the wall. Stay in the same position, and now reverse. Try to take the pressure off the wall or make slack in the TRX. Staying in that same position. Now the back side's firing. That lower shoulder blade should be lit. Hold this position and then slowly let this go, sinking back to that passive stretch. See if you can torque into a little bit deeper range of motion and breathe. Big slow breaths. 4 count in through the nose, out through the mouth. 1 more big breath in, brace the core, and we start our second round to drive into that TRX. Build on that contraction, feeling the front side working, that front shoulder and that bicep. Greatest, safest effort. And reverse. Try to make slack in the TRX. Stay in the same position. Try to peel the forearm off the doorway. Feel that backside engage. Hold this. And then sink into that passive position again. We're breathing. Once again, we have 1 more round coming up. If you need to, you can always skip and go on to the next exercise. Here we go. 1 more big breath. Brace the core, brace the body. Drive into that TRX. Build that contraction up to your greatest, safest effort. Hold this, hold this, hold this. Rip that thing off the wall. Drive into that doorway. Stay in the same position and then peel that forearm off the doorway or make slack in the TRX. This is all from the back side of that shoulder. And relax. Slowly let that effort go. and breathe. All right, flipping it over, we got the left shoulder now in external rotation. Rotate that chest away from that working side, and then rotate also down towards the floor to torque more of a stretch on that front left shoulder. Once we have that, we breathe and try to get comfortable in this position. Big, slow breaths. Starting our first round of pushing and pulling, take a big breath in, brace the core, scissor the legs together, and then start to rip that TRX off the wall. Feel that come from the stretch on that front side of the shoulder. Build on that contraction. Hold that effort. Hold. And now reverse. Try to peel that forearm off the doorway or reach the arm back, making slack in that TRX. This is coming from that back shoulder, right underneath that shoulder blade. And then we go back to that passive position. See if we can get a little bit deeper in the stretch. Breathe in this position. Once again, we can rotate the chest away from that working arm and also rotate it down towards the floor to get more of a stretch. Get ready for that second round. We're going to start to brace the core, brace the legs, rip that thing off the wall. Build on that contraction. Working up, working up. Get your greatest, safest effort. All from that front shoulder. Start to reverse that effort, staying in that same position. Nothing's moved except for that arm is rotated backwards. Feel that back shoulder, that lower shoulder blade working, and then slowly let that effort go back to that passive position. Search for that stretch again, see if you can get a little bit deeper, and breathe. We've got 2 rounds done. If you need to, you can always skip to the next exercise. If not, we're ready to rock. Pack air in that belly and brace the core. Scissor the legs, rip that TRX off the wall. Feel that front shoulder working. Build on that contraction. More, more, more. Greatest effort, all from that front side. Staying in that same position, reverse your effort and try to reach that arm back behind you, peeling away from the doorway, making slack in the TRX, all from the backside. Keep scissoring those legs together, keep that core engaged, and let that go. Now we're working shoulder control, laying face down, keeping those arms locked out. Raise them up overhead as high as you can and keep them there, and then we rotate. Rotate those biceps down towards the ground, up towards the ceiling. Got 8 full reps. Try not to let the arms drop down. Once we've completed those 8 reps, we swing the arms out to the side, squeeze those shoulder blades together like we practiced, and then we rotate from here. Biceps rotate up towards the ceiling and then down towards the ground. 8 full reps. Last position, we're going to keep those arms straight and squeeze back behind us. Think about reaching the arms together, keeping them long and straight. Try to resist those arms from falling down towards the floor. Keep them up high. Alright, going back to our overhead position with those arms straight. Raise up as high as you can and then curl the hands behind your head, making sure those elbows don't drop down and touch the floor. Try to keep those arms up as high as you can the entire time. We got 5 reps. Rotate the arms back behind us, and we're going to focus on triceps now. curling the hands in, and then tricep extend out away. Keeping the back of the arms up as high as you can the entire time. Don't let the arms drop down. If the floor limits you on how much you can curl back in, just stop where you hit the ground and then extend back out. We got our second round of overhead curls and tricep kickbacks. If you're feeling froggy, we can load this. Right here I got 2.5 pounds in each hand. After doing the first round, you might already kind of realize how challenging this position might be. So loading it is not necessary unless you can keep very, very good control of this movement without compensating or dropping those elbows to the floor. After 5 curls, we're going to go back behind us and we work extensions. 5 reps here.